Femi Falana, SAN, who is, of course, Sowore's counsel, has expressed concern over the bail conditions imposed on his client, Omoyele Sowore. Falana said he is worried that the bail condition, if met, would confine his client to a specific part of the country. He said the last time such a restrictive condition was levied on someone happened during the colonial era. He cited activist trade unionist late Pa Imodu, whose movement was restricted to Auchi in Edo State for 3 years by a court order before he was eventually allowed to relocate to Lagos. Chief Femi Falana called on the nation's human rights groups to wake up, unite, and return to the trenches to battle an emerging dictatorship in the country under the Buhari government. All right, gentlemen. Other people on social media are actually commenting on Sowore languishing alone in jail, as it were, even after the bail conditions had been revised. Akogun.
Well, what's the name of that place now? Where they met in 2002 against the fuel.
In Oregon?
Freedom Park.
Is that Freedom Park, okay.
I think the Freedom Park Alliance.
I
think the Freedom Park Alliance is dying, basically. And this is due mainly to the fact that the lion will kill its own, ultimately. I don't ride the back of the tiger. I don't expect to be swallowed. Two things happened, really. The man was charged for treason. And when they could not get away with breaking the 90-day rule, and must take them out to court, they now bring conditions that will be very difficult to meet. And that's the way we stand. And then, of course, there are also stories that Sowore himself has decided that it's not going to get anybody, as far as they don't allow him to move around Nigeria, will not obey that bail condition.
Wow.
As though nobody is willing to come forward in such a situation to get something else. But that's neither here nor there. As you know, the Falana is a lawyer. I'm sure 50 million naira is nothing to him. He can stand in for his clients, pay the money. He should lead by example and start talking what he doesn't know. Nigeria will have problems, of course, with dictatorship because we all enhanced this dictatorship. It's all of us. And he is in the best position to fight it. Because right now, the original judgment the original judgment was about a month ago. He has not challenged it in an higher court. He has not done anything apart from looking for people to bail him out. That to me is a relation of duty. Okay. Because by now I expect him to go
the part of the lawyer.
Okay, fine. This condition
he has challenged for the
the challenge is different from ensuring that the man is released based on cycle. No.
He has gone to court.
This man is still walking around now. The senator who bailed out Kano. So it's not a do or die thing. But if the man said, look, you cannot confine me to Abuja, and then the law says you must be confined to Abuja. So it's better not for people to come forward than to put themselves in trouble.
But in this restrictive condition, which is part of the bail condition, do you see it as being fair, really?
It's not fair. That's why I agree with the man. It's better to stay in detention than agree to a bail term
that you cannot.
Okay,
anyways. Okay, I get
that. That means they cannot move to a particular street in Abuja. And then what will be the purpose? The man is playing the script he wrote himself. And the Nigerian state is swallowing behind.
Okay, all right. Chief Okufose.
Patience, you still come back to the issue of you becoming a judge in your own case. This is what is happening in Nigeria. What Falana is saying, which Akogun has refused to address, the dictatorship tendency that is creeping in, which he has refused to address, is that the presidency sit over the court. There is no how that court, that judge, would have given such a stringent bail condition to a man he knows meant no harm. We all know that what is his name? Sowore, despite all the noise, was just trying to do protests. We have done protests here in Lagos before the election. Remember the two-faced protest? It was even worse in terms of motive.
But Chief Okufose, treason is a serious accusation.
Madam, who told him he has committed treason? Is he the one that told him he said that somebody said so? That's what I'm telling you. The government said what you have done is treasonable. Was it treasonable? No.
Well, that's left for the court to decide.
Now who is the judge?
I'm coming.
I can't be the judge.
I'm coming. In a treasonable offense, you don't even grant bail. It restricts you to until you are taken through the court process. You are not even granted bail. Some of us on this table, I remember myself and Akogun laughed even when you read out the charges against Sowore that day, including insulting the president, including internet bullying and the rest of it. We all laugh. Treason. He dismissed it too. He dismissed it. So what are we talking about? Now what happened to the Freedom Park? What Akogun refused to also answer, what happened to the Freedom Park is that those who were at the Freedom Park are the people in government now. So the Freedom Park is dead.
Don't know what I said.
No, I said that's what you refused to answer because
Is that what I said?
You didn't answer it. You didn't listen.
What did I answer? Okay, what I said.
No, you said that what happened at the Freedom Park was that a lot of things.
I said the alliance.
Talk to me. Talk to me. Leave a
The alliance is not dead.
It's a time to opinion.
The alliance is not dead. What happened at the Freedom Park? What happened to the Freedom Park? Why we cannot have Freedom Park today? Falano can also explain this. Is that those who were at that Freedom Park are in government today, so they cannot protest against themselves. What is happening today? How many journalists? We have Guild of Editors. We have NUJ. That guy is a publisher, right? We have corporate internet where it belongs to online bloggers. We have everything. How many of these groups have come out and carried just placard to say we release Sowore? Just don't go anything. Nobody. Civil society today, they are opening with the government, going everywhere looking for fun. They cannot speak. So that is where what Falano, who knows better than you and I, that tells you that if you don't stand up, one day we'll all go back to the Bachaira.
Mazi.
I think let me come from the angle of impunity in the country.
Okay.
And dictatorship. I think, with due respect, I want to be very careful in the choice of words that we use. But I also remembered that what has happened now never happened, or happened even when Jonathan was there, the former president was there. Nobody was incarcerated. The Freedom Park, he said, Barrister Obani, no?
Yes, now.
He was there. And that is why these days, the moment he comes on air, people will ask him, have you forgotten? Where are you people? Bring back our girls. Yes, where are they now?
You cannot even protest on the road.
So there was no amount of insult. I began to hear hate speech.
So fake news.
Fake news. That time. But this comment came on board on the platform of propaganda, lies, and hate speeches. And nobody incarcerated them then. Nobody even arrested them. Even the present Minister of Information has told us so many lies, has told us so many things that would have warranted his arrest. He was not arrested. But then, remember, it was on this platform that I said I was not too comfortable with the word treason. He used it. And again, it's not the issue of go and give a machete cut to somebody. It is come with that person you gave that machete cut is not healthy. Come and treat him. That is what happened. Where are those people that were behind him when he was doing those things? He had been abandoned. But look at the wickedness of the law we have. 50 million whatever restriction to blah 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 blah. Where are we going? Where are we going? So what I agree with Fran that we have seen a lot of dictatorship here. We have seen it, and until we come out and say, look, enough of this. By now, I respected the students, to come out and say, look, this person was a defender of human rights. Let us bring him out. Nobody has come out to say, bring him out.
We are so ridiculous.
Bring it out. I mean, we are now in a sorry situation in a country where falsehood. I've been saying it. Falsehood has become the order of the day. Then when somebody who's trying to say the truth, it becomes.
All right, Mazi, riding on what you have said so far on this administration, trying to stifle people's voices, if I get you correctly. But the federal government has come out several times, to deny emasculation of
are you not seeing it? Are you not seeing it?
I'm not.
Are you not seeing it?
I cannot comment.
No.
I know.
We are saying it. You invited us to air our opinions, and we're here to say the truth. We are all elders. Nobody. I saw 50s. I saw 60s. So at this age, if I don't say the truth, when will I say it? We are suffering. We have people in authority that speak from both sides of their mouth, and they are saying that those that were in freedom, where are they today?
They are in government.
Where are they today? And that young man, remember, that young man was also insulting the former president. Nothing happened to him. You see, the first day you invited me here, I mentioned once, I said, this is what you get when you say, give us a king. Just like the children of Israel requested for a king. And Saul said, Samuel said, Lord, they rejected me. God said, no, they've not rejected you. They rejected me. I will give them the king. And they've given us the king. And look at what we are suffering. No, that's the king we
may not use that analogy. I think it might not be very good in this case. I think what I needed to actually buttress is that, you see, President Jonathan actually said something before he left office. He said, someday you will remember my time.
He said,
you will remember my time. The freedom that I'm coming. The freedom that you have in my time. Do you also know that there is a place during Jonathan administration that in Abuja they constantly were Freedom Park 2. That's the name they call it. Do you know they have started reconstruction of that place just to stop people from going there to protest? The government, fountain. They've started reconstruction, and at some point, they did not even allow people to go in, to confine themselves in that and voice out. Now that tells you how this government does not want to hear divergent views. Divergent views. Do you understand? So now, at the end of the day, what do you call it? Sowore is a publisher. I'm guilty. Akogu is guilty because we are in the same profession. He actually belongs to the same organization that Sowore belongs to. What has happened? Not single press releases. Nothing that has happened. Now we are all living. Perhaps Sowore may not be paying Falana. Some of these cases are taking pro bono for interest sake. He knows what I'm talking about. And please, for God's sake, so that some of us tomorrow can come out and say, that's why we can hardly even tell governor what to do.
How do you react to what Mr. Foster said?
I'm tired. I go back to my original statement. That was very clear and ambiguous. That the Freedom Park Alliance is dead. And that those who ride on the back of tigers ended up being consumed by the tiger. People created this monstrosity. And people will have to deal with it. So I have no pity for either Sowore or Falana, because they're also part and parcel of those who facilitated the process that we found ourselves.
Okay.
And also nobody has the right to ask people who have not disobeyed the law to come out and die for people who took conscious decision to confront the states. I will not do that.
Okay.